Morning. That was addressed to you guys. Good morning. How are you? Have you enjoyed the nice weather in Bodø so far? I will be the first of, I think it's 3 presentations. My name is Daniel. I'm going to say a few words about the New City, New Airport project here in Bodø. But I was wondering, there are different people here, and why are you here? What made you come here to Bodø? You, sir? Yeah? Yeah? Was it mandatory to come here? You really wanted to? Oh, okay. Oh, nice. How about you guys in the middle here? Why did you come here? For the opening, the grand show. How about there in the back? Oh, okay, nice. Well, okay. The next question is why people live here, and we're going to look into that, hopefully. Sorry? Okay, now we're good. As you guys living here, you know it, but as you guys that are visiting have already seen, it's not always midnight sun or northern lights here in Bodø, but for some reason people still live here, and we're going to look a bit back into history, why that is, and then we're going to look into the future. I'm going to tell you a story about attitude towards opportunity, how a small town like this in the outskirts of Europe changed a crisis to opportunity, but then we have to look into history. So, say hello to Bodø in 1930. Hello, it's nice little town. Bodø was created after we got a license to trade from the king himself in 1816. Before that was practically nothing here. So we were founded on trade, fisheries, banking, finance, transport, and of course insurance and such things for supplying the fisheries. So during the decades after 1816 it didn't happen much, but then into the 1900s it really started growing and experienced a vast growth ever since. On the 27th of May 1940, the city was terror bombed by the Germans. The reason being that the British had established an airfield out on the peninsula, which main purpose was to supply the battles in Narvik further north. Have you seen the movie, Battle of Narvik? If you haven't, you should see it. It's great. So, the Germans needed to stop the supplies to the Battle of Narvik, so they bombed Bodø to the ground. 6,200 inhabitants were evacuated, but 50 people still died. In the months to follow, we became 18,000 inhabitants, 6,000 German soldiers and 6,000 forced laborers and prisoners of war. The sound still bad? Okay. They say that technology will take over the world. I don't think that's a problem yet. Can you hear me? Oh, great. So, the terrors of war aside, the everyday life had to go on, and we started reconstructing the city and building it for the future. The Swedish Red Cross sent prefabricated buildings, so we started building new dwellings for the people here. It's called the Swedish town. It's not very beautiful, but it's an iconic part of our history. It's in the western side of town. You should go see it. Swedish town, that is a great part of history. In the 1950s, during the Cold War, at the point in time of the outbreak of the Korean War, the fear of a Soviet attack on Western Europe targets led to be a very rapid construction of a NATO Air Force here in Bodø. We were NATO in the north. Summer 1951, the new runway was up and running and ready for military activity. 1 year after, in 1952, 12th of May to be precise, the airport opened for civilian air traffic and has been ever since. In the years and decades to come, there were stepwise expansions on the fighter base. The airport became the #1 employer in Bodø and an engine for growth in this part of city. Still, fisheries and all those businesses were important, but military activity were an engine for growth. It shaped our identities for 7 decades to come as the Norwegian city of aviation and defense. Hence, aviation has been central to Bodø's development ever since. The construction of the Air Force Base was founded on defense policy, rushed and driven by the fear of war. Quite similar to the situation we have today. And this is the main reason why the airport is located where it is. The current runway is in the middle of the peninsula, in the middle of the current city. So that's the backdrop. So back in 2012, it all changed. The national government decided to take away this huge piece of our identity by relocating the fighter base further south. It was a crisis, both economically, but in our hearts and soul. It's a part of our identity were ripped off. But we had to look into the opportunities this gave us. So we knew that the runway from 1952 had to be rebuilt. And since the Air Force left, we could start thinking new, moving the airport to the side of the peninsula where it should have been put in the first place, hadn't it been for the fear of war. But moving an airport isn't a vision. Is it? No, it's not. And freeing land for city development isn't a vision either. So we needed something more, a vision. What about saving the world from itself? I come into that later. What about making a sandbox for R&D on zero-emission cities, developing solutions for transport, zero-emission buildings, energy systems, and so on? We thought it was a pretty good idea back then. Now we're 10 years ago and so on. But we didn't ask anyone else at that point. We just thought it was a good idea, so we had to look into that. But we started out making an illustration of this vision, making us all and the world to believe that it could someday, this fighter base, become something like this. This is an illustration which is over 10 years old, but that's how it all started. So it really changed the mindset from this identical crisis to looking forward, shaping the attitude faced with opportunity and crisis at the same time. And then we started strolling around the world to see if more people thought it was a good idea. Researchers, investors, and so on, and I'll come back to that later on in this presentation. But the backdrop being that this is the UN saying that cities are where the battle of sustainability are won or lost. We can't make the green transition without making the cities green. So that was our starting point. So we made a business idea. We thought that saving the world could be a good one, at least contributing to it. So here you see some principal sketches on how we are now planning along the strategies for developing the city. You have a new city area, you have a new airport area, you have a greenfield area, which is a part of the fighter base, which would be a museum area, with a new industrial area, and so on. So as you can imagine, and I will show you some examples, this is an urban development project, it's an innovation project, it's a smart city project, it's a transport project, it's a climate project, it's a cultural project, it's an SDG project, it's basically a project for the future. So, let's look forward. We have been strolling around the world, as I said, looking for scientists, research, investors, enhancing our idea and maybe being a part of it. And when we started running around Europe asking, would you like to be a part of our vision? Would you like to be a part of this idea? Would you like to be some of those people contributing with knowledge and funding to create those solutions on zero-emission buildings, new transport systems, and so on? And we thought, well, we're a small city far up in the north, probably nobody will answer, but we were overwhelmed. And since then, we have been part in several international projects, and I will show you some examples on that. But we were really overwhelmed. At one point, even a big state-owned Chinese company came and said, we could buy the whole thing, we could build everything for you. I said, hold on, we'll probably do it in a little slower pace. But anyway, it shows the interest for our thinking and our vision. So the project has opened to many exciting opportunities, which allows us to take a leading role in sustainable urban development. Smart, green, efficient, and renewable energy systems, including zero-emission neighborhoods, zero-emissions areas, how to form and develop them, in combination with different energy sources in one system, circular economy, amongst many other different types of projects. The largest urban development project in Norway at this point, and also one of the biggest internationally. This is the first and foremost Bodø's main development project for the next century. We're not going to do this in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's a big step to form the future for a century. And it's two projects in one, relocating the current civilian airport to ensure access to the new areas, as I've shown you, and then to plan and facilitate the development of the new areas, making it a sandbox for R&D, as I mentioned. So, a part of the business idea, as I started out with, the weather. You have felt it, and it's more to come. The idea being it's a good test site for these kind of technologies. If it works here, it probably works anywhere. So, one of the things we have been doing is a 5 million euro project. We have tested autonomous transportation and mobility systems. As you can see, if this vehicle could drive around people safely in an area like this, it probably could do in any other city in the world. From Bodø to the world, a small contribution to the knowledge and the transportation systems about them. So what about new industries? As you can see, this is the area where you saw on the sketches before. This is the industrial area. Right now, we are investing 1 billion Norwegian kroner, about 100 million euros, in a hydrogen plant, which also will contribute with a lot of oxygen, so we could land-based fish farming, find a new, more sustainable way, contributing with more healthy food to the world. So there are huge investments solving the major task to make the world sustainable again, happening right here in this little town in the outskirts of Northern Europe. But of course, as I mentioned, it's also a cultural project. We've got a lot of history. Cultural values and cultural heritage landscapes are including, of course, in this planning. As you can see, these are some sketches from new trails, cultural trails we are forming. We are forming some in regards with the cultural capital status this year along the coastline. We're finishing a great new trail. But cultural monuments have a key role in anchoring the new city to the site and being identity-creating elements for the future. When the airport area is made available, a place that has played a major role in Bodø's recent history will be open for the people and all people visiting us. And areas for knowledge of history with great potential for increased tourism, of course, will emerge. We have bunkers, taxways will help to tell the story about cultural heritage landscapes, and they will be given back to the people. We have a big bunker called Innlegg 96, which is an atomic safe bunker, which main purpose was to save Europe from an atomic attack, so an invasion from the Soviet Union. So when the dust has fallen and all the citizens of Bodø were dead, they would come out of the mountain and save Europe. That was the main idea. So, quite big part of the European history. And if you haven't heard about the U-2 incident back in 1960, you should Google it or visit the Aviation Museum, which is a part of the cultural roots here and are ready and open for visitors interested in our great history of Northern Europe. So, this is back in 1970s, an international article from a newspaper, Arctic newspaper, had this headline. They had discovered what we were doing. And as you can see, it's quite ambitious. The dot that becomes the center of the world. Of course we won't. But it's a matter of perspective. It illustrates our attitude faced with crisis and turning it into opportunity, as I started out with. We are a dot and will still be a dot, but the dot is on the world map and in many people's minds, and that was the main target. And that's also why some of you guys are here, and that's also why many people actually live here. So being a part of the world, contributing to making it better, whatever the future brings, and our ride doing so, we will placing ourselves in the center, as on this map, like the small but lovely city we are, with the high ambitions and the resources and the will to do so. And I just give you some highlights on what we've been doing and what we are going to do together with partners from all around the world. That's a piece of the New City, New Airport project. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. Or if not, give me an applause. Thank you. Oh. And we have handouts. You can read more. I'll just place them here. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir. Please tell me where you're from and who you represent.
Do I need a microphone?
The producer says yes, because we are live, so you can't swear. That's been some challenging for me, but should he get this microphone? Okay. He's a parkour man.
Thanks very much. Leif Lundsmann, Copenhagen, Denmark. Some 20 years ago, we decided in the small island east of Copenhagen, where the airport is located, to develop a brand new city named Ørestaden. Are you familiar with that project? There are lots of takeaways to bring home from there.
Yes, we haven't looked very hard into that project. We have seen been looking into other city development projects, but we are aware of it. But now we also need to go there, I see, because there's probably a lot of inspiration we could get from there.
I could recommend that you speak not to those in charge of it today, but those who developed the vision 20 years ago, because they would know better than any which mistakes they did and how to improve. I will be helpful with contact to some of the pioneers behind, because their thinkings were similar to yours. The vision is partly achieved, but not fully. So there's lessons to learn.
Thank you for the advice. And one of the main fears, of course, for the project team was and is that when the plans are faced with the reality and the future, yeah, we'll see. So thank you for the advice. Any other questions?
I have a question. I'm from China. Nowadays, a lot of people refuse to take flights due to sustainability awareness. And now you are on the position to build a new airport. Do you have anything to say to them?
Of course, we are in several projects on sustainable aviation fuel, because this part of the world isn't available in any other way. Of course, we have the trains, so there are some options, but you come from China, it's a long trip by railway if you should come here. We're very glad you used the airport. But we're in different projects. Actually, the airline in Norwegian are going to fly people in here on the foremost sustainable aviation fuel that we have today. But we also have the hydrogen plant, which are looking into green aviation, which is one of our main projects, of course, because we can't make a green city with a gray or brown airfield. So we need to solve those tasks. So green aviation is a strategic goal for us. And we are several projects working into that, both in short term and long term.
Yes, I'm local and I'm really looking forward to this developing project. I wonder how many people are supposed to live in this city you call the new city, and what do you think will be the biggest challenges for this new project?
Well, the main problem will be people, of course. We have in the whole different parts of the world, in the western part of the world, Western Europe, Northern Europe, people is a problem. So we won't get the workforce we need unless we are able to attract them. And that's why one of the things we're doing is the European capital, to show what we are, that there actually live people here. When I meet people around the world, their main idea is there's nothing here. We don't exist. This is a nice area where you find polar bears. Have you seen one yet? No, of course. We actually have hotels and nice restaurants and urban qualities, but many people don't know that. So that's one of the ideas by being a cultural capital, is to show our culture, show that actually is civilization here, because people is the main challenge. We have a lot of investors coming in, want to create the vision by building new green industry. And that will, of course, attract people, but that's not enough. We need the urban qualities. We need to combine the urban qualities with nature, so people actually would like to live their lives here for some years or for their whole life. And I'm very glad you live here. Keep doing so. Other questions? It's quiet. Thank you.
present, where the age-old tales of fishermen are carried on the salt-kissed breeze, and a thriving seafood industry continues to flourish. The sea is our heart, and it beats in every trawl and every harvest. A region where the ocean's embrace remains a timeless melody. Welcome to the place where tradition and innovation dance hand in hand. Our culinary journey is a direct line to the ocean's boundaries. Welcome to my home, just above the Arctic Circle. Welcome to Bodø.
Hello everybody and welcome to Bodø from the tourism industry in Bodø and the region around us and the Nordland County. This is a very special day and a very special year for us. And my name is Ann-Kristin Rønning Nilsen, and I am the managing director of Visit Bodø, the destination company of Bodø and the region around us. Jeg lurer på, Julie, om vi kan ta det bordet, for jeg ser nesten ikke den. I'm so sorry, I just was a little bit complicated. I'm sorry about the delay with the technique and everything, but now it's okay. We have been looking forward for this for a long time, and I'm very happy, and we in the tourism industry are very happy to wish many new guests welcome to the region this year. The film that you just saw is a cooperation between Bodø2024 and Visit Bodø. And an important task for us this year especially is to tell the story of our Arctic identity to the world. The film tells the story about our coastal culture, which is a vital part of our identity. Bodø as a hub, Bodø is located just above the Arctic Circle and serves a vital role, is a vital hub for the broader Nordland County and Northern Norway, showcasing the vital route in connection and facilitating across access to the surrounding areas. Bodø is easily accessible from Oslo, which is a big international airport with several flights a day. In addition to this, you can also fly directly from Helsinki with Finnair this summer, which opens for more international connections. It is easy to get around with Bodø as your base. Different transport options for getting around in the county of Nordland. Bodø Airport is situated only 2 kilometers from the city center, and the train station, which is the end station for the Norwegian Railway, is also located in the city center. I want to tell you a little bit about the main attractions and activities in the area. The tourism industry is growing and is also investing a lot in new hotels, new activities and new attractions. Saltstraumen is a must visit. when you are in Bodø. It is the world's strongest tidal current. This natural phenomenon occurs when the tidal flows in and out of the Saltfjord, resulting in intense whirlpools and turbulent waters. The intense tidal currents in Saltstraumen occur when massively amounts of water need to pass through a very narrow strait, creating powerful whirlpools and turbulent conditions. The constriction of the channel forces the water to accelerate, leading to the impressive natural spectacle that is observed during peak tidal flows. In Norway, we really like to talk about the weather. But in Bodø, we are also talking a lot about the lights. Because of course, both the midnight sun and the polar lights are amazing. But we can also observe different colors in the sky, from really soft pastel colors and also the burning sky when the sun is back in the winter time. Bodø is also the region in the world that has most light hours. We don't have the dark time. Also, it's not completely dark and the sun is not gone. It's behind the mountains. So that, in addition to the summertime when the sun never sets, makes us the most light, the place on earth with most light hours. We are located just about the Arctic Circle, as you know, and the tourism industry in the region has a lot to offer. You can experience a restaurant scene that is thriving, and a lot of new chefs that are offering new and also traditional courses. We have also a lot of unique accommodations that are established in the region. Of course, Saltstraumen, as I was talking about, and the glacier Svartisen is located, you can find it just 2.5 hours southbound from Bodø with car. We have a lot to offer in summertime, spring and autumn, but we are also the tourism industry also have big ambitions about building out the winter season. So a lot of businesses are now establishing different winter activities, as dog sledging and also activities connected to the Northern Lights. What does Bodø2024 mean to the tourism industry? We have great expectations for increased number of visitors and also increased value creation. A year in the spotlight is not so usual for us, because most of the customers in this area are Norwegian customers. So 2 out of 10 visitors in Bodø and the regions are foreign visitors. So we have strong hopes that the world will see us and see all we have to offer, and also that we are moving forward in 2025 with a strategy of a more export in regarding the tourism. We have seen in the recent years new investments, new hotels, and also really a focus on sustainable development. We are working tight, strong together with the municipalities and the tourism industry to really have a strong focus on this development. We are also experiencing that this European Capital of Culture project can be a part of defining our Arctic identity this year, and also new job opportunities and new creative industries. The key themes that are the red threads through the European Capital of Culture are fish and chips. It was the theme of the first film. And you also have the next. It's experience the transition, which Daniel Bjarmann-Simonsen told you about before me. And we also have a third key theme, and that is experience the art of nature. For me, this project, European Capital of Culture this year, is business and is tourism, but I think it's also very personal, because the key themes are going straight into our hearts and our identity. When I am thinking about fish and chips, I get the memories of my grandfather and grandmother who was teaching me how to fish and how to do it with respect for the nature, and how you could use the whole fish and not throw something away. It reminds me also about my youth, where I could experience culture, music, concerts in this city that is not perhaps so available on other small places. And then I have been sitting on mountaintops and on a beach and listened to classical music together with my friends in the 80s. and also when we are telling these stories, I think it resonates with a lot of us. So it's not only the universal stories, we also have the personal stories, our memories, and our also our love of telling stories, because Nordlendingen, or the people of the northern Norway, are famous to love a good story. So I really want to encourage you to get to know some of the people that you meet, and also ask some questions about the personal stories, because it's through these stories that we really see the value of culture. Because now, perhaps more than any time, connection between people are crucial and very, very important. So that's a big hope that this is going to contribute to that. So I just want to play the last film for you. It's about transition.
Meet me, where the essence of art intertwines with the raw beauty of nature, where nature's magnificence captivates the souls of our creators. The play of light on the mountains, the dance of colors in the sky. Each scene is a masterpiece crafted by Mother Nature's hand. In this city, just above the Arctic Circle, artists draw inspiration from nature's wonders as they carve the art that tells the tale of our coexistence. Merges with the wild, where creativity takes its cues from the untamed wilderness. Welcome to my home, just above the Arctic Circle. Welcome to Bodø.
So as you can see here, we have also made some information to you where you can experience some of our partners. It is all in your press kits, and you can also find the information on our website, visitbodø.com. So here you can get free access to different experiences. We also have media assistance. If you need any assistance, if you have questions, we have Julie Abelsen. She is our marketing director, and she is available for questions, or if you have any other needs for assistance. You can see the web pages where all the information is available, and also in the toolkit. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm sorry for the beginning. I was a bit, I couldn't see the text, so I hope that it made sense for you. Yes, please.
Certainly, I need a microphone.
Yes.
I'm here. Leif Lundsman, Denmark. Thank you very much. It moves me that when you speak, when the mayor speak, when the business directors speak for the new city, this is an area apparently full of growth, welfare, richness, everything in favor of the hope and future. But when I look at the cultural program of Bodø2024, it's another tone. It's like crisis, climate, fear, risks. There's such a dichotomy between the real world and the artistic envision of the real world. How do we consider this dichotomy between art and reality? And how could we support art to also believe in the future?
Oh, it's a big question. Yeah, but I think that for me it's always about setting an intention, and I'm very happy to work within the tourism industry, because the suppliers, I think, in the area are very focused on how to preserve the nature. How can we give it to our children, to our grandchildren, and they also get knowledge. I can take one example in Saltstraumen. It's a diving center, and they are really, they have so much knowledge of how to get close to the fish, when can you go close to them and when not. So we are trying really to work close together with the people who really knows nature, and how can we then develop the industry within tourism in a good and sustainable way. But it is so much crisis, as you say, in the world, and you can't be naive. But I really believe in optimism and possibilities, and set the ambition high, and then you will achieve good things, I think.
That should just be transferred to the artistic envision of the future.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Per Christian Selmer Andersen from Aftenposten.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I just have a question about the rise in tourism. How much rise do you expect it to be in tourism during the Bodø 2024? Mm-hmm. And what do you expect to be the long-lasting effects? And also, where do you think the tourists will come from? Do you want them to come from Norway or from Europe? And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It is, as I said in the presentation, we have had a lot of investment in the accommodation sector in the Bodø city center. So I think the increase when Wood Hotel, the big hotel at the mountain just outside the city center, it's 80% increase in the number of hotel rooms. If I define that as the city center, it's only 10 minutes with the bus. And the last year, if we compare 2023 with the 2019, which was the last normal year before the pandemic, we have had 30% growth in the sales of hotel rooms in the city center of Bodø. But we still have the capacity to receive more guests, and I think that is really a very important factor to have a realistic expectation of growth. We have in the application for the Bodø2024 or 2024, I think that there is a number, if I don't remember false, of 20%. So the information from the hotels are that the bookings are really good. I think the big challenge will be 2025 and 2026, because it's so much activity in the city and the region this year. So we have to be smart and use this opportunity to aim for the future as well. So we have been doing strategic works with the industry, and we are really now trying to mobilize a big cooperation to reach the European market and also overseas. Because, as I said, we have only 2 out of 10 foreigners visiting us. So we want to make a stronger impact on the international markets and also build a stronger brand. Yes, please.
Last question. First, I have to say I really enjoyed your presentation, and especially the part you're talking about the personal stories. I think it's really important, and that is why we can differ a city to another city, especially nearby city like Tromsø. So my question is, how do you see the difference between Tromsø and Bodø for tourism offerings?
You know, we have a kind of friendly competition between Tromsø and Bodø. But I love Tromsø. But I can see it is different, and I also think that Tromsø is aware of that. Because when you have a really volume tourism in some months of the year, I think the city will you will notice it when you are in the city. I remember I went to Amsterdam. I'm not comparing, but I lived there in the 90s, and I really felt when I was going in the city that you feel that it's perhaps too many visitors. So I think we have to be really aware of the negative impact that tourism can have on a small city. So I am thinking that Tromsø really are aware that you have to look at the numbers so we don't have the people pollution. But when you come to Tromsø, it's a magnificent city, and you have more the Arctic experience there. And I think in Bodø you have the green winter some of the times, and perhaps another menu of experiences that are, I think, reflecting the coastal culture, and you also have, you don't have the same number of really Arctic experiences in the winter time. I don't know, was that an answer to your question?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Thank you, thanks. You can ask me afterwards. Okay. But thank you, everyone.
Hello. Today, thank you, and it's a great honor to speak to you about Sami culture and identity in today's Nordland. And I want to start with a quick recap of the Sami history. We, the Sami people, have survived 150 years of assimilation, Christianity, 2 world wars, and being divided between 4 different nations. And even with these factors, we have survived as an indigenous people, and is also an indigenous people that is thriving. And my name is Nathaniel Holand Larsen. I'm a member of the county parliament for the Norwegian Labour Party, 23 years old, and I'm from a small Sami village called Vassdal in Narvik municipality, the town that Daniel talked about earlier about the battle. But I'm also a Sami person, a northern Samerner, Sami person to be more specific, and today I'm wearing the traditional clothing called the gakti, as you may see. But I'm also a former Sami pathfinder. These are the Sami pathfinders when I was a pathfinder. It is a government program where 4 Sami youth are selected to travel through all of Norway to teach upper secondary students about Sami culture and Sami society, and they have to study at the Sami University of Applied Sciences. So my education background is from that University of Applied Sciences. But from my meetings and experiences I got as a Sami pathfinder, I learned that even though we are finished with the assimilation of the Sami people, we, the Sami people, have our struggles and have our challenges. One of the challenges is ignorance. Many people do not know who we are or what a Sami person is, and others Sami people themselves don't even know what it means to be a Sami person. And others who are Sami don't know about their identity as a Sami person. Or as I would call it, an identity crisis. We also have the struggle with being exotified or stereotyped. I imagine some of you, when you think about a Sami person, have this kind of image in your head. A Sami person on the mountain doing reindeer husbandry, wearing the gakti, when in fact it's this is not the normal way a Sami person lives. A Sami person lives in the city, perhaps have higher education and wears normal clothing, and live modern lives, and some do reindeer husbandry. But when you exotify and stereotype an indigenous people, then you can make grounds for identity crisis, that people feel that they are not fully part of that indigenous community because of the exotifying and stereotypes. We also have the problem with education and or culture. In Norway, it's a right by law to get Sami language education in school, but often that right is not fulfilled because we don't have enough teachers. And same with the culture, that many people have lost contact with their own culture because of the assimilation. So a lot of the Sami culture is lost because of assimilation. But fortunately, we have many Sami people that have taken back the Sami culture. For example, this gakti that I'm wearing, it was lost during the assimilation, but my grandmother with 3 other ladies recreated this traditional clothing and took it back to use. But all of this way stereotypes and exotifying is mostly because of how we project things, how the majority society see the Sami people. And myself, I had my own identity crisis actually as a kid, because my mother tongue is Norwegian. I didn't speak Sami fluently as a child. My family is not from the reindeer tradition, but instead the farming Sami tradition. And I just have one Sami mother, and my father is Norwegian. That gave me an identity crisis because I didn't fit in the perfect image that a Sami person speaks Sami and is doing reindeer husbandry. But I do not come with just bad news. Things are actually getting better. And Nordland is in the forefront of revitalization of the Sami. And I'm going to take up something as boring as a county plan. This is a plan called Divna Aktan. It's Luli Sami for all together. The plan is a plan to include young people that is not in work nor in school. And even our museums plan, or strategy for our museums, is called Godjimilip, which is Luli Sami for who we are. And the reason why I take up these plans and their titles is because it's not because people read them particularly, but it gives us a signal what the county thinks about the Sami. That is embodying the Sami in all of its work, and even using the Sami in the most important and more strategic plan. And our culture, even though a lot of it is lost, is quite diverse and is in life and is thriving. As I said earlier, my grandmother, she recreated the Gakti, and there's many others who are taking back the Sami culture. So today we have Sami festivals, as on the picture, the Markomenno is a Sami festival north in this county. We have Sami music, and we have developed the Sami music from just the traditional joik to also include Sami rap, Sami hip-hop, and such. We have Sami theaters here in Nordland. We have one Southern Sami theater, for example. We have Sami museums that also, the Sami museums all over the country and the county. And Sami doji, which is translated to Sami handcraftship, is also developing. It's going from just being traditional to also having a more modern branch of it. And culture is quite important, especially for an indigenous peoples. It gives community to the indigenous people. It gives you a pride of your own identity, a connection to your own culture especially, and it also makes sure that that the majority society also accept your own culture. When the majority society also know about the indigenous people's culture, then they will be more acceptable to that indigenous people and understand their own struggles. And therefore, you will get an acknowledgement of your culture. But perhaps more importantly, it gives a reconciliation that you take back your culture and connect with it. And Sami culture is so developed that we even have international Sami culture. Perhaps some of you have heard about Alan Walker. He has, with a Sami artist, Isak, created a song called Sorry. The song has Sami words and Sami joik in it. And the reason why I take this song up is because a friend of mine went to Canada one year and went to Walmart, and this song was playing. And he was so amazed that even Canadians can listen to Sami music in Walmart. And that shows that's a healthy sign that the Sami culture is so developing that even Canadians can listen to Sami music. And for 2 years ago, there were a Sami pavilion in Venice, and I actually worked at it at the Venice Biennale. And that showed Sami art. And the thing about that art is that it all was a critique of the governments, the Norwegian government, the Swedish government, and the Finnish government. and it also was funded by the same governments. That shows that in Sami culture, you can criticize your own governments and even get government funding for it. And that's also a healthy sign about how Sami culture is today. And then the Sami languages. We have quite a lot of Sami languages. Worldwide, it's 11 different languages that is still alive. In Norway, there's 6 Sami languages. And in Nordland County, there's 5 different languages. That makes Nordland in a special position. And out of those 5 Sami languages, 3 of those are official Sami languages. That means that you're entitled by law to get a language education in those languages. We are the only county in Norway that is responsible for more than one Sami language. And that gives us some struggles, but also some opportunities. The struggles is that we lack teachers, we lack language areas because of the assimilation. We are not like in the more core Sami areas where Sami is spoken in the stores. Therefore, it's quite hard to make sure that people speak Sami when there's no Sami languages areas. But it also gives us diversity in this county. Another struggle is climate change. A lot of our culture is linked to nature or livelihoods, like fishery and reindeer husbandry. That is a more traditional culture, and they are quite threatened by climate change, especially the primary reasons like reindeer husbandry and fishery. So if those are affected by climate, then also our culture and our language is affected. But over to more about culture again. Culture can bring people together. And I want to talk about about racism. We are now in the city where, again 2 years ago, a child experienced racism for being Sami on the National Day. It was a child, Magnus, 5 years old. He was wearing his gakti and experienced quite some hurtful comments about not that he wasn't supposed to be wearing the gakti and not waving the Sami flag. And the beautiful thing about this is that the city after this went together and supported him and the Sami cause. But I think that we can't just every time someone experiences racism that we make a circle around them and then support them. We have to actually do something with why we have racism and how to stop it, fight it. And I think culture, again, is a weapon against this. When people know about culture, the Sami culture, then they understand the Sami people more and perhaps is more acceptant to the Sami people. And therefore, I'm really glad of Bodø 2024, because Bodø 2024 is including the Sami. It's not exotifying it. It's neither stereotyping it. Bodø 2024 is showing the real Sami culture. And therefore, they're also breaking down barriers. They're making Sami culture accessible for all people, not just the Sami people themselves. Many Norwegians I've spoken to feel that Sami culture is just for Sami people, and it's not. It's for everyone. And therefore, the work Bodø 2024 is doing with the Sami, it's normalizing it for the majority society. It also gives a sense of pride to us Sami people, but also the Norwegians and others. And it shows the diversity that we have here in Norway. So that is why I'm really glad that Bodø 2024 is including the Sami people, and I hope that you guys also experience the great things about Sami culture. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Leif Lundsmann, Denmark, from a country with no Samis, but lots of minorities. One of the challenges you mentioned is the exotism and the stereotyping of the Sami and their culture. Allow me, it's not meant critical, no matter it might sound like, but don't the Sami artists contribute to this exotism and stereotyping by exhibiting Sami culture as something distinct and exclusive and certain, and you're even mentioning the Sami people and the like was the place you were born, a matter of mentality and not just geography. Don't you push a little bit to the maintenance of stereotypes by exposing Sami culture as something very, very, very special?
Thank you. It's a great question. And yes, in the cultural world of the Sami, it's quite diverse. We have those who really enjoy showcasing, for example, reindeer herding and romanticizing that story. But on the other hand, we also have those who don't like it at all. The rapper, Slinkre, Sami rapper, he's not wearing the gakti when he's at concerts because he's just a normal person. But we have other artists, I'm not going to name them, but really like to show the romanticizing. And I think that absolutely affects the image that the majority of society gets, because it's a Sami person that says it themselves. But also, I think, for example, reindeer husbandry, a reason perhaps why it's quite also a large part of the Sami culture, especially in art, is because a lot of Sami artists are critiquing the government. And the most problems are in reindeer husbandry because of area conflicts. That was in, for example, in Venice, when Marit Thoresen used, for example, rain cows to critique the government. But her art, I would not say, are stereotyping the Sami or certifying it, just showing the struggles. But yes, some artists are perhaps romanticizing it, but I think it's healthy for indigenous community that we have a diversity in the cultural spectrum, that some perhaps, that's how they are using their own culture. And that I think is okay, because that is a self-definition of your own culture. But when others, external parts, are stereotyping or exotifying it for wrong reasons, like the Olympic Games in Lillehammer, then you use the Sami to give it like indigenous stamp. Then I think it's perhaps you should not do that, because then you're using the wrong intentions. But Sami artists using reindeers, perhaps romanticizing it, also is their way to critique something and getting attention from the majority society. Thank you.
Anyone? Question? One more? Great.
I'm a journalist, always curious. When you show us the map, that's very intriguing and interesting, the map on this one. If it wasn't for wars and history, this could be a country. And young people belonging to minorities crossing borders sometimes dream of a country. In Denmark, we know of some. And self-autonomy or some kind of independence. Is there a Sami cross-border dream of a Sami nation in the future?
No. Perhaps you will... Yes. Perhaps, no. You can find one person or two that says, oh, I want a nation. But the majority don't want a nation. And that is because in 1751, when the border between Norway and Sweden withdrew, there was what's Latin for codicil, as an amendment to the border law that said that Sami people can travel freely over the border. And that, I think, contributed a lot to not giving a resistance against the borders, because they understood already in 1751 that they had to, by law, make the borders freely for Sami people. The only condition were that they had to choose either Norway or Sweden for the citizenship, where they're going to pay taxes. And today the borders do not affect my life that much. It doesn't affect reindeer husbandry so much because of that law. But yes, you can find some that want a Sami nation, but we have a political discussion about not nation, but how much self-government you want in that nation. And that is a political debate in the Sami parliament of Norway.
Thanks a lot. And talking about borders and crossing borders, have you or will you invite your Russian Sami brothers and sisters to celebrate the Sami culture in 2024?
Oh, that's
and why not?
That's a really good question. I think it's quite important to have contact with all Sami people across borders, but it's quite hard with the regulations that we are now. The Norwegian Foreign Department has said that you can't have contact with any organization getting government funding in Russia, and that's almost every Sami organization. And the Sami people in Russia, their organizations are government funded or government controlled, and they have publicly also said that they support the war. I do not believe that is their personal opinion. But it's quite hard, and I think that we have to have contact with them, but it's quite hard with the situation today. And I think it's quite sad that the indigenous people have to suffer during a war. Yeah. Then you should invite them. Yeah. But it's quite hard with the regulations today. Yeah, but I'm from the county parliament. But yeah, I understand that. It's a choice. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm just from the county parliament. I'm not from any Sami organizations, and I think that Sami organizations, like the Norwegian Sami organization, should take that discussion if they should invite them. I have to follow the government protocols since I'm here from the county parliament. Yes.
Thank you very much.
A big welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us on this very special occasion here in Bodø. My name is Marit Thoresen, and I live here in the Arctic. When I was younger, I used to travel in the world, living in many different countries, but I always longed back home. And that is because my experience is that Bodø, my hometown, can sometimes be the most magical place on earth. Today, I hope to inspire you all to experience the Arctic perspective in a new and unique way. People have been living in Nordland for more than 10,000 years. We still live close to wild nature, and even in a digital age, it affects our temperament, our way of living, and who we are. The Arctic dimension is also reflected in our approach to culture and therefore our program. This is just outside Bodø, which is Saltstraumen, the strongest maelstrom in the world. Bodø is situated in the very north, exactly 67 degrees above the Arctic Circle. How do we use our joint European culture to solve challenges in society? Can we use this opportunity to build hope and unity across borders in a time with war, inflation, and pandemic aftermath? Bodø2024 is the biggest cultural happening in Norway in over 10 years and the biggest in the Arctic ever. The purpose of receiving the ECOC title is to bring Europe together through cultural activities. The title is given by the EU, and the occasion creates significant cultural, social, and economical advantages for the chosen city's image. It also creates an excellent marketing opportunity on an international scale. The long-term strategy is to build a solid foundation for the cultural sector in the region for the future years to come. Bodø2024 is therefore also a community project with the purpose of making our region a better place to live in. So, welcome to Bodø and welcome to this presentation of Bodø2024, the first Arctic European capital of culture in history. Hæ? Det er lyd på datamaskinen. This is our program. How can we connect with the rest of Europe? We want to show you our lives. The light influences everything in the Arctic. It is the very pulse of our way of living. The program is therefore divided into 5 seasons, inspired by the sun's fascinating journey throughout the year. We will chase the light of nature and let the program reflect from when the sun appears to when the darkness is upon us. There will be activity through all seasons, and we encourage to come visit every single one. The program is divided into 3 key themes: the art of nature, fish and ships, and transition. The art of nature is about embracing our raw nature rather than fighting against it. We plan projects and events right into nature as our main stage. Fish and Ships is about our history, how to communicate what it was once like to live on the coast of Nordland and what it is like today. Transition will emphasize that we are now moving from a former NATO base to a new city, a new airport, a society in great growing development that has the potential to become a real urban and international hub in the future. So let's go through some highlights. Introducing season 1, Here Comes the Sun. After 3 months of darkness, when the sun returns, we celebrate. Historically speaking, the first season of the year is about prosperity and production. Our history will form the foundation and beginning of the program year, articulating the real story of the Nordland region. The opening ceremony is the launch of Bodø2024. Centered by the harbor on a floating stage, the story of Nordland will be told through Berlin-based production company Fase7 and Nordland Theater. Her Royal Highness Queen Sonja of Norway will attend, and national and international TV crews and you journalists will provide good coverage out to Europe. Sami Culture Week includes exhibitions, theater productions, concerts, a digital lavo, and much, much more, all to show the Sami culture in a modern perspective. And if you just want to hang out and learn more about this beautiful culture, there is a hangout right here in the center. Marcialonga has officially entered the Arctic. Anchoring such a concept in Bodø will contribute significantly to the economic ripple effects to our region and help focus on Bodø as an exciting Arctic destination in the long term. What can we do collectively to take care of everyone who participates so that they return in the following years? At Marcialonga Arctic, you have a 5-minute walk from the airport to the hotel and to the starting area. The world's only ski marathon would ski in, ski out from the hotel. Introducing season 2, Spring Optimism. Spring is optimism, forward thinking, and youth. Spring will also focus on togetherness, unity, and our common European identity. Together, we will nourish a warm, democratic society and impede a new shift in seasons. Nordland is more than mountain peaks. Can we interest you in a jazz concert inside of a deep cave? Artist Håkon Skog Erlandsen has played on top of Mount Everest and now is diving into the depths of the Arctic. If you have a diving license, you can join, but don't worry. You can stream the concert globally. 1,500 American schools are already on the list, and this will be a Guinness World Record tryout. Pretty spectacular. Okay, moving on. Because in 2024, the Vega World Heritage turns 20 years old, and their marking and contribution to the Capital of Culture year is Sound of Silence, a UNESCO symposium in Bodø with a number of events on climate, seabirds, coastal culture, and nature. Introducing Season 3, Midsummer Madness. So summer in the Arctic means full daylight for weeks on end. It means fresh seafood, the world's sweetest strawberries. It means lack of sleep due to intense encounters with nature at its most powerful. The summer is packed with lots of wonderful family activities. Most of them are for free and will range throughout the region. Imagine a bonfire on steroids, the 23rd of June, produced by Manchester company Walk the Plank. Estimated around 10,000 people, family activity with mystical creatures, getting the audience involved in a very theatrical way. Located in the center of the city with a backdrop of the Norwegian and Atlantic Ocean. In Norway, we love to hike. European cabins of culture brings art into nature to the tourist cabin. Norway has 550 of them, and these cabins are an important part of our hiking traditions. All are open to the public, built and run by the Norwegian Tourist Association. In 2024, they will not only be the destination of a day trip or a weekend in the mountains. For a period, they will be small cultural centers with exhibitions, concerts, performances, lectures, and so on. Introducing Season 4, Autumn Storms. After a short but intense summer program, the autumn storms intervene. Our program reflects the return of darker nights, and it is time to address and discuss the substantial European topics of our time. Arctic culture is not all squeaky clean, and that is what Messy Corners is all about. Acclaimed author Knut Hamsun was known for his anti-Semitic influences through his writing, both through the Nazi movement, African Americans, and the Sami people of Norway. This project aims to illuminate the untidy corners of the artist's life and the relationship between art and the artist. People are not like the pristine images in advertisements and social media profiles we are exposed to everywhere. Even the greatest artists are complete individuals, and quality art conveys all facets of being human. Bodø is part of ICORN, International Cities of Refugee Network. The International Cities of Refugee Network is an independent organization of cities and regions offering shelters to writers and artists at risk, advancing freedom of expression, defending democratic values, and promoting international solidarity. The City of Refugee are ambassadors for human rights and freedom of expression by hosting persecuted artists across various of genres, including novelists and bloggers, poets, journalists, comic book authors, singer-songwriters, and so forth. And this year, 10 artists from former ECOC cities will be shown here in Bodø. If people were free, art will be the form of their freedom. Introducing Season 5, Arctic Light. The Arctic winter is not about darkness. It's about colors, nuances, and shades. And so is our program. When the lights are dimmed, new perspectives and colors appear. Project 67 has an Arctic or northern focus, especially around 67 degrees north in the Arctic countries of Norway, Greenland, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. These countries share much of the same history and challenges when it comes to the environment, culture, development, and society. Through Project 67, we wish to focus and create dialogue on important topics and challenges that the modern world faces today and in the future, putting this into an Arctic context. The Arctic Hideaway is the starting point for 5 European artist residents during the year, one of each season throughout the program, all which become a new exhibition. Arctic Art Island will investigate nature and sustainability through art. The artists will get close to the elements and at the same time investigate whether art can reach out to the world from a small island in Nordland. The total program is packed. As you heard, there are over 1,000 activities all year, and it includes a lot of different genres of activities. So for more information, please check out our website or contact us directly. I want to look at some focus areas that we have. Like said before me, the Sami are Norway's indigenous people. Sami art and culture is important to us throughout the Capital of Culture year. We have, among other things, scheduled the opening of the entire project for Sami Week. In addition, the artistic level is very high, especially when it comes to music and art. Sami culture and our focus on sustainability are also very organically connected. And Sami culture has a strong foothold throughout the country, but we probably find most interest abroad. Through our international network, we see that the fascination for all Sami culture is great because the indigenous aspect is a topic for many countries. Outreach is about reaching out. This is the definition that is about our commitment to minority groups in society that otherwise fall out the scope of the cultural events. Refugees, low-income families, people with physical or psychological challenges, and not least, direct involvement with children and young people. Much of this is done through our volunteering program, where the aim is to meet these groups in their own arenas, build competence, and ensure inclusion. In Norway, it is quite normal for young people to be involved in decision-making processes that have an impact on the society that we live in. But internationally, this is quite unique. Therefore, this project was decisive for the application to Bodø2024 going through and winning. The goal for the entire youth project is to create a sense of belonging and pride in the young people's own home. The youth project has their own board that are in charge of their €1 million budget, which is the financial foundation for their very own youth program in 2024. So, why were we awarded the title? All these focus areas and more works as the foundation for the actual program this year. What exactly will be the effects of the cultural year 2024? We see that an estimate of about 1,000 events, large or small, are expected. With an area throughout Nordland, the party will be 600 kilometers long and last an entire calendar year. Our job in the organization with partners and everyone involved is to facilitate a better society for the future. We will create new opportunities for capacity building, build platforms for better networks, and new collaborations. It is, in many ways, in 2025 that it really starts, and we can begin to see the effects of the work that have been put in by the whole of our great county. In other words, there are very exciting times ahead.
Meet me with the echoes of the Cold War era now harmonizes with the rhythms of an emerging cultural scene. Formerly a core NATO stronghold, this city played a vital role in shaping careers and the very essence of our society. Meet me where the old meets the new, where tradition intertwines with innovation. This time as a pillar of the creative innovation in the Arctic. In 2024, we mark this transition from cold to cool as a European capital of culture. Welcome to my home, just above the Arctic Circle. Welcome to Bodø.
Yes, and that includes my presentation. Thank you again for your attention, and I really hope that you enjoy the opening night today. Thank you. Do you have any questions? That's a good sign, I suppose. Please enjoy yourself, and thank you again.